Today is a very exciting day. The only problem is it's going to be a little bit more exciting for me and less exciting for you, but that being said, it's exciting. For the past couple days, the content has been focused solely on getting the Barracks 5 rails set up, making the stair set, getting it skatable. It's been so much fun. As you've probably seen from the videos, this is the final form, or at least the final form for now. You know, we can always rearrange or change kind of anything we want, whenever we want, which is the glory of freedom. But at least for now, I'm so happy with this. I think it skates beautifully. I think it looks great. Oh, you know what? I didn't even check to see. It's the next day now, and yeah, okay, that has fully cured. That's hard. Nice. That was that big. I think it's an expansion joint, actually, now that I'm a concrete pro, you know what I mean? I know the terms now. I keep calling it a crack, but a crack is like something like that. That was there intentionally, I think. Anyway, I went through and used some concrete filler. I was gonna use Bondo, but I found some concrete filler and I think it works the same, so it looks great. Yeah, what I'm getting at is that the rail's done, the rail's good for now. The skatability of the workshop is just one aspect of it, and you can see I have this big old pile of boxes laying around. I wanna say 90% of it is for my fingerboard obstacles as well as just general miscellaneous tools I'd like to have in a workshop. Got a belt sander, and I got that just to have for, you know, anything I need it to, but mainly to clean up the concrete fingerboard obstacles that we make. This is fresh out of the mold, and you can see it needs some sanding, and previously I just been doing it by hand, just wet sanding it. I think with that belt sander I'll be able to just go and speed that whole process up. What else we have here? We have a cheap little drill press. Oh, this thing's really cool. It is a compact bender. So I don't know what it's used for in the real world, but it can do up to sorry, I'm gonna read the package. 5/8 inch round or solid rod capacity, which is exactly the biggest size that I use for my fingerboard obstacles. Stuff like this, where I make these A-frame rails, or stuff like this, where I do a little S rail. I made the ghettoest pipe bender to do that stuff. This is my contraption that I'd been using. You essentially, you clamp that in the vice grips. We're gonna pretend this is a steel rod, but you put that in the little grooves. And then I made this, which isn't even ghettoer little tool I made to bend the steel piping. You put it in there, and then you just you twist, and then you pull it out a little bit, and then you twist again, you pull it out a little bit, you twist again. That's how you get these bends in the rails. By no means the proper way to do stuff, but it had been working. It's just so, like, it's impossible to get two of the exact same rail. This is just a super cheap entry-level bender from Harbor Freight, but I mean, it's gonna be a huge step up from that, so that's kind of going towards my fingerboard stuff. We can start doing circle rails and just a little bit more advanced, cool, bent rails. Then we got a welding table. That one is pretty self-explanatory. Anything is going to be better than this. This is my current welding table. You can see how warped that thing is, and it makes doing pretty much anything really complicated. Yeah, it's cheap, it's small, it's from Harbor Freight. It's gonna be a huge step up. This is the one that I think you guys will enjoy. This is a 12-ton hydraulic pipe bender that can do 1/2 inch to 2 inch of Schedule 40 steel tubing. Steel pipe. I just learned that piping and tubing are two different things, and I keep getting them confused, but Schedule 40 piping, that can bend. That's pretty much one of these bad boys right here, so I'll let your imaginations go to work as to what I'm cooking up in my brain. Now, I'm gonna start making real skate rails similar to how I've been making the fingerboard ones, just scaled up into the real world. That's what this thing is for, and then this box, and this box, and this box are actually for the CNC router, which again is also for my fingerboard stuff. Now that the CNC machine is indoors, when this router is cutting, it obviously makes a ton of sawdust, which before you could just kind of blow into the wind because it was outside. In this box, we have an actual attachment that goes onto the end of the router that hooks up to the shop vac that's in this box, which hooks up to that Cyclone dust separator that's in that box. It gets rid of sawdust. And then we just got some new grinding wheels and stuff for the little bench grinder that we have, and just miscellaneous other stuff. Long story short, we have a whole bunch of boxes that we gotta open. The reason that I said today is an exciting day is because today's the delivery date of something that I've wanted for months and months, and if not years actually, that I was finally able to actually make happen, and I'm very excited for that to get. You'll see when it gets here. This is more about setting everything up and less about unboxing it, so I'm gonna do this pretty quickly here. After doing some quick Google research, I found out that this is not sponsored, by the way, but the Sweepy 2.0 is the dust boot that I'm looking for my CNC machine. I've never used anything like this before, so I'm not really too familiar with how it works, but I think it's self-explanatory. From what I've Googled, this part with the brush goes onto the router itself, so the drill bit is in there. Here is where the shop vac plugs into, so it's constantly sucking, because that's what vacuums do. And as this is going through and making its cuts, the sawdust is getting swept up with this broom and sucked out, and hopefully that reduces the mess. So I'll try this later. Next box. Oh, I guess while we're on the topic of the CNC router, that's what I had never heard of a cyclone dust collector before, but again, Google was my best friend here. A real one is hundreds of dollars, and there's this huge expensive thing. I'm not looking for that. I'm a hobbyist here. I'm just looking for something that'll sort of do what I need it to. I think this is it. It comes with instructions that I'll probably want, but the way this works, allegedly, from what I've heard from Google, you get a little 5-gallon bucket, and this thing goes on top of the 5-gallon bucket like so. The shop vac goes in here and sucks, because we've already established that's what vacuums do. And then here the hose continues and connects to that little sweepy thing that connects to the CNC machine. As air flows through here and it sucks up all the sawdust gets separated into this 5-gallon bucket, which saves the shop vac filter and makes it usable. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this thing performs. It was pretty cheap. Next box. I was trying to pick this up to put it on my lap, but some of these things are so heavy. I explain what everything is. Maybe I don't actually have to bore you guys with unboxing everything. I'll just take them out of the boxes, set them in their place, and then I'll show you. Here's all the trash and recycling from everything, and I got everything assembled because I figured if I unboxed it and didn't assemble it, I'd never assemble it until I needed it. So I just went through and assembled everything, and here are all the sort of workbench tools. This is stuff I'm using for the fingerboard obstacles mainly. The bench grinder disc. I already had this little mini chop saw for the little mini fingerboard rails, the drill press, and the belt sander. Got the welding table assembled, and I had heard mixed reviews on this, and that this top sheet was a little too thin, but I mean, this feels great for, like, I call myself a weekend welder. It's fun, it's a hobby. I definitely don't need some crazy huge, perfectly machined level, solid steel. Like, I don't need all that. Despite the mixed reviews, I'm actually really hyped on this. I haven't tried using it yet, but it feels great. I'm leaving this space open for the little something that's coming in the mail today. I think that's the best spot for it. I hooked up that dust boot to the CNC machine, but I am gonna have to get a longer hose because this is what it came with. This moves. I mean, this square that you can see is the work area, and the tube is gonna have to go from this to this. And if this is all the way over here, I'm gonna need that hose to be able to move and probably dangle it somewhere from the light, or make a mount, or have something so the tube is held up there. That tube's gonna go from this to this, and that's gonna filter out all of the sawdust, and then from there it's gonna go all the way down into this bad boy, which I'm actually super hyped on. I've been wanting a nice shop vac for a while now. And here are the pipe benders. So this thing eventually I'm gonna have to actually concrete anchor into the ground, but I gotta think long and hard about where I want it, where it makes the most sense before I do that. This one's for the fingerboard rails, and this one's for the reel rails. And this one I've heard you can actually flip it on its side and use it kind of portably, so I'm not gonna mount that one yet. I kept the manuals for both of these because I've never used any such machinery before, so I want to learn how to properly use it. This is just their placeholder location for now, but that is pretty much the organization unboxing that I wanted to handle this morning. Once I put the thing that's going here, I might be able to scoot that welding table over more. I just want to make sure it doesn't go past that beam, obviously. It's pretty portable though, so if I want to move it out of the way while I'm skating this, I totally can. I think it'll be fine there though. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I guess I'll see you guys in a little bit. Boy, oh boy, has a lot happened since the last time I was holding this camera. I think this video is gonna do a full 180, which I think you guys will actually enjoy more because we're actually building something skatable now. Before it was gonna be a little bit more of a shop setup, quote unquote renovation video. Check this out though. All of the packages that I was waiting for have arrived, and then some actually. We have the plasma cutter, which is probably gonna give these two things away if you are familiar with that. Wow, I actually I feel like a kid on Christmas right now. Okay. This box, though, is also the harness bar for the 240, which I wasn't expecting today, but it came in, which is cool. I think you guys know by now, if you watch my videos, that my brain, I have a determination problem. Some people say stubborn, I say determined. Once my brain locks onto an idea, there is no getting away from it. I am going to do that idea. Whether it's a good idea or not, I'm doing it. I really never skate this quarter pipe. It's almost like it could be repurposed and used somewhere better. Okay. I need to test something. Bringing this down to the shop to see if this is a good idea. And I've been talking to Corey pretty much nonstop over the past couple days. Corey from Keen Ramps, in case you couldn't put two and two together there. You guys know, for the 127th time, they're coming on the 20th of next month to work on that Wallride that I've been talking about for months now. The only thing is, now that Wallride plan might change, thanks to you guys actually. Pretty much every video about the warehouse or the garage, the shop that we've been doing, I've asked you guys for input on what you think could be the best use of that space there. And while at the end of the day, it is my space, I'm gonna do my space. I miss my space. I'm gonna do whatever I feel like I'll have the most fun on, regardless of if it's the best use of space or if you guys even agree with it. Doesn't really matter. That being said, there's been so many helpful comments that have just helped me see things in a new light. The number one comment that I was actually completely dismissing up until this morning is just to not do the Wallride right there. And literally up until this morning, that wasn't even an option in my head because I really wanted it. I have that upstairs area with the A-frame and the ledge, and that's like the street skating area. If I want to go to progress and learn flip in, flip out, like technical tricks, that's where I go. And I wanted this half of the warehouse to sort of be the opposite of that, where I can go to learn how to get comfortable skating transition and then just be like a more well-rounded skater or whatever. Plus, it's like if you're skating an A-frame or a handrail, you're hucking yourself, you know? A mini ramp is so much more of a vibe, just to cruise around and hang out with friends. And it's more of like a fun pastime activity than it is skating a handrail. That's why I love the idea of the mini ramp, and I loved the idea of having a giant Wallride there to have contests on who can go the tallest, get a pull-up bar up there, because you can touch the ceiling easy. Two thoughts come to mind really quick, and Corey had a good point too. I don't have to limit myself. I really can, within reason, I can really do whatever I want and experiment with stuff. We can have the Wallride for 4 months and then do something else, or vice versa. Like I'm in my head, it has to be this, and this is the way it's gonna be forever, and that's not true. One of the more frequent comments that I saw said, instead of doing the Wallride there, do the Wallride here. So obviously you hit the stairs, boom, Wallride, you make a Euro gap or something up the stairs. Originally I was like, yeah, cool, the proportions might not work because the Wallride has to come out almost 6.5 feet, which is gonna be somewhere over there. You got what, a foot of landing before you start going up this transition? You know, and then I got to thinking, like, how much time and money and effort do I really want to put into this idea before Keen Ramps gets here? Exhibit A. Permanent solution, I can almost promise you not. Temporary solution, I think it's gonna be great. You're gonna have to hear me out, all right? The deck is gonna go. We're chopping it right there so it still shoots you into a Wallride. It's just not gonna be smooth. You can choose to just go up and down and I'll add a Euro eventually, or you can go like shaboom and bash into the wall there, because this is all plywood, like that's fine. I was also thinking of going through and adjusting the radius a little bit just to make it a little bit more steep and aggressive and fun. I am gonna go trace out a couple radiuses with a Sharpie so I can better visualize it, and then this journey goes on. That's a 50-inch transition radius, which is a lot tighter and steeper than you would ever really want to go. Usually you want to keep it around 6 feet, which is 72 inches. And I think that Corey said that this quarter pipe, or this mini ramp, has an 82-inch transition radius, and it's super smooth and nice. However, with what I'm going for, to just kind of have it as like this wall bash little turnaround spot for this, 50 might work. You know, I think I'm just gonna go. I don't even know if this is the right tool to cut this, but I don't have a jigsaw, so we're gonna make do. Yeah, I can do this. Battery died. I guess I committed already because I'm already cutting it, so I guess let's go disassemble the rest of the quarter pipe up there and start bringing it down. I disassembled this in the most inconvenient way possible. You're supposed to do obviously the skate light, then the plywood, and then the 2x4s. I just yanked off the side. Now I'm trying to figure out the best, because I'm also gonna reuse all of it, so I'm trying to figure out how I don't have to disassemble too much. Maybe I do just take it apart though. I mean, we're not gonna use the deck anymore. Okay. For some reason, I can't fully wrap my brain around if I'd be able to use this exact sheet with the new radius. Instead of trying and have it not working, I think I am just gonna disassemble it. So take the skate light off, take the 2 layers of plywood off, and then just get the 2x4s and build the frame from scratch. Let's go finish cutting those radiuses. I think the battery charged. Nice. I think the real question though is it nice? It's the first transition I tried. Yo, I kinda think that's gonna be money. I mean, it's steep for sure. I was telling Corey I wanted it to be like not like jersey barrier. You know, like how a jersey barrier, if you like DIY a concrete little ramp on the bottom of it, it's like that's the only way I can describe it. I didn't want it that steep to the point where it's like you can't go down fakey without your nose scraping. Like that's too gnarly. It's a Forester and it's such a mellow rail now that I want just like a little turnaround point where you don't have to bash into the wall if you don't want to. I think that's gonna be pretty, like I said, this could all very much be temporary. We might run this for 2 or 3 weeks and then decide we're gonna change it up. We can continuously add on to it. Like it's all for fun, you know, we're just having fun. People are yelling at me in the comments on these videos that don't like it. Like, you don't do that. That's the dumbest thing you could have done. I'm like, relax. We're having fun. There's a side-by-side comparison. So that wood-colored one is the old transition. You can see how much mellower it is. And then the one we just cut is in front of it. We're in too deep now. Let's run it. Now I'm going through and tracing out the one that we just cut, because now we're gonna duplicate that. I don't know how I messed up that bad. It's the line closest to the arrow that I'm following. Nice. I feel like that's the hardest part, is to get the transitions to match, and those are pretty damn spot on. I'm gonna have to cut them at the bottom of the coping line and just, I mean, we're cutting off the deck completely, but you remember that it was that weird triangle deck, which is why they're different lengths. Now we just rip it straight through there, and then that should give us our final transition radius thing. There it is. We are gonna have one more step that I just thought about. We're gonna have to notch out, as 8 sawdust. We're gonna have to notch out this bottom corner to fit around the concrete foundation, because I want it to sit flush up against the wall there. But yeah, that's all looking good. Aha, that's looking good actually. Not that it was like an impressive task or anything, but after making these stairs and sort of like registering in my brain that I can make things, as opposed to having to wait to get help to get things made, it's like opened up this huge realm of ideas in my head. I have so many ideas of things I want to make, and some I will, some I won't, some I'll change my ideas as time goes on, who knows. A lot of people were suggesting to just seal off the mini ramp. So we continue this and just have that be its own entity and have this be its own entity, right? I don't like that idea, and there's actually a lot of reasons that I don't like that idea for. But now that I'm thinking about it, even if we don't have the Wallride here, I really like this access point from either coming in or going out, which is why I don't want to have this quarter pipe be too far this way. And there's a window there. We could board that up if needed. In my last video, I kind of showed that if you land angled that way, that rollaway is like more than fine. You can cruise into the mini ramp, which I really like. It's just if you pop off this way, so if you're doing like front tail, front side flip, or anything where you're landing this way, it'd be nice to have a turnaround point, which is why I think just a little 6-foot quarter pipe there is perfect. I want to add some slappy curbs or like a rail on that bank, so you can do like trick in, boom, and then cruise into the mini ramp and start skating that. As I keep creating, more ideas start popping into my head too. And again, before people start yelling at me, telling me I shouldn't do it this way, deep breaths. All input is appreciated. Like you can give me your ideas all day. I do like that. Doesn't mean I'm gonna use the ideas though, but it's just, we're just messing around, seeing what sticks. Now I'm gonna go through and make the framing with the 2x4s, and I'm honestly probably not gonna film it. I'm just gonna play some music and vibe out, but I'll let you know when it's done. Frame is done. It's all looking looking good. It's still pretty light because there's not a bunch of plywood and skate light on it, so I can kind of slide it freely. We can get it nice and butted up against the wall there. And that's honestly looking better than I thought. Hit the rail, boom, come back up. I'm gonna make a Euro gap at some point, or like a kicker up or something. Cool, yeah, it's almost done. I guess it's just time to re-sheet it with the plywood and skate light. And I can't quite do the math. It's a tighter radius, so it's gonna use more material or less? More, right? Because there's more of a curve. That's gonna be interesting, I think. I don't really know. I think I'll figure it out as I go. I was debating actually talking about this because of how embarrassing it was. But this clip, this time lapse that you're watching was the next day. And it's only the next day because I literally couldn't figure it out. I was in the garage until almost 1 a.m. I reassembled and disassembled this stupid little mini ramp 7 times before I could get this right. And I'll explain more once I'm done with this time lapse. I needed to put into words how frustrated I was getting doing something that should be so simple. I was just being an idiot, but we got it done. Damn, and just like that, the sun is set. Where has the day gone? I want to show, ooh, look at this view though. Even to this day, I'm still finding some really cool little peekaboo view spots. Looks a little bit better in the real world than it does through the lens of the GoPro, but there's a bunch of cool views on the property. Oh yeah, the lighting's great in here, good job. This is the top, so the skate park's below us right now. This is the top section. These windows have some absolutely insane views though, because it's just a straight wall all the way down. I can't wait to get this converted into a gym or whatever we decide to do with it. I've been seeing so many comments telling me to just move my workshop up here and convert the whole lower section to as the skate park. That wouldn't work for a variety of reasons. There's the lights in here. You can't put thousands of pounds of, even if you could get the machinery in here, which realistically you probably can't. You can't fit thousands of pounds of heavy metal machinery and all that stuff onto here, which is an end goal to, I don't want to say too much. There's some cool stuff I want to do with the other non-skate side of the shop down here. Now that we are down here though, you can see that well, first of all, I got a fan. Second of all, I finally finished this. Third of all, believe it or not, I actually cleaned up again. That seems to be a recurring theme here now. All that wood and conduit, I still have the PVC piping because I'm putting that in the attached garage, but this whole driveway was just littered with a bunch of stuff. Kind of like that. Now that's my dump run pile. That's like unsalvageable wood and a bunch of other stuff. I was talking so much shit about this industrial shelving, but you know what it's really good at? Being industrial shelving. I have a ton of leftover skate light. I have some plywood left over. I have some 2x4s, some 2x6s. I have interior trim to go around these windows here, exterior siding to finish the siding on the side of the shop, and they fit pretty perfectly on this industrial shelving that I've been complaining about for weeks. Who would have thought? It actually serves a purpose, and I kind of like it now. I don't really want to get rid of it. That being said, I cannot put into words how frustrated this stupid little quarter pipe was making me. I do think part of it was that I was just so fried from working in the heat all day, and that's part of the reason I caved in and got that fan. You know what hangry is, right? When you get so hungry that you're just irritable. It's hungry and angry. You're hangry. I was hangry, but it wasn't hunger and anger. It was hot and anger. I was just getting so frustrated. I was here until 1 a.m. I kid you not. I fully stripped this thing down to the 2x4s 7 times. One of the times I had all the plywood and the skate light riding too low, so there was a massive gap at the bottom that the metal couldn't finish. And then another time I did it too high, so it wouldn't go up against the wall, and there was also a big gap there. And it was just like, I'm like saying it out loud. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but I was so flustered last night. But we did it. It's pretty much exactly, well, it actually is exactly what I was hoping it would be. You still have plenty of room to hit the extension and go out, right? Out that open door. You can launch off the bank there. I want to put a rail up on that bank once the door's open. You can also enter from over here. So let's say you do like a tray flip into that bank. You come through the open door and then all of a sudden you're in the mini ramp. Like I really like having that open to come and go as you please. It also works perfectly as just not going directly into a wall after you skate this. I'll show you. I want to take you up to it, because I think the angle is pretty much exactly what I was going for. It's by no means a smooth transition, and I didn't put it into words very well the first time I tried explaining it. This transition on the mini ramp, I believe, is an 82-inch radius. That's what determines that level of curve, right? Don't quote me on this, these are rough numbers, but for a 4-foot-high quarter pipe, which this is, I know that, I think it's 7 and something feet from there to there, because that should be a 4x8 sheet. So lengthwise, I think it's 7 feet-ish. Plan A with the initial Wallride here would have been using that 82-inch transition radius, because that's how you get that nice, huge, smooth, sweeping quarter pipe. It would go up probably, you know, 6 or 7 feet to right there, and then it would just, you know, lay flush against the wall there. You can go so fast pumping off that pyramid. You go down, you go down, you go down, boom, you're not even touching the wall till right there. That's why, I mean, you can have a bell up there, you can have a pull-up bar, you can have anything up there, and you are touching that, like you're reaching the ceiling. A ton of people were telling me to take that Wallride idea and just put it on that wall there. So you have a massive Wallride that takes you up to the wall there. The problem with that, obviously, is what I just talked about with the length of that Wallride now. This comes out a little over 4 feet. I didn't want to make it too long because I still love the idea of being able to cruise through here and go out the door, right? If that's over there, you hit that and bad things happen. Also though, if this is any longer, like people were mentioning doing a pyramid, doing a hip, doing all sorts of things here, most of those obstacles are coming out to here. A, that ruins this idea I keep talking about of just coming and going through here. But B, if something's there, look where the rail, if you fall, you're landing, boom, smack into that quarter pipe. That's why I wanted to keep it shorter here. So A, you still have decent runway before you hit that transition, and B, you can still go this way and vice versa. Again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. As soon as my brain locks onto another better idea, I'm probably gonna do that. But in the meantime, for something that I personally can do, there's no way I'm making a bowl in that corner. That's a really cool idea too. I don't have the skill to do that yet. For my skill level in terms of working with wood, this is pretty much pushing it clearly because it took me so long to do. Where'd my skateboard go? I wanna show you the angle here. I didn't want to go more aggressive than that 50-degree radius that I had mentioned, because it feels quick but not unmanageable. You can see though, your nose scrapes on the wall right there. So this part of it feels decent right here. Like it's a wall bash for sure to get up there. A lot of people thought this was drywall too, and people are like, dude, you're gonna go straight through the wall. No, that's solid, I want to say 3/4 inch plywood with a bunch of studs behind it, because this was like a huge industrial warehouse. People are hitting it with, it was a machine shop, so people are bumping into it. There's a bunch of heavy machinery in here. It was built to be sturdy. I want to get another metal strip to put here, because there is like a little gap, but I mean, you make it over it. And yes, I can see the comments already. The next thing I'm going to try to make is a Euro gap up the stairs, because that's pretty much essential now. Check out the Wallride though, one thing at a time. You can choose to not pump into it and just, you know, treat it as if there were coping there at the turnaround point. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty chill. Or you can bash into it, which is pretty cool. I like that it's painted white so you can see the wheel marks too, so you can see how high you can get. I'm happy with it. It pissed me off making it, and I was holding a grudge on that stupid quarter pipe. Now I've gotten over it. I like it. Honestly, I'm just kind of like chilling tonight. I wanted to wrap this video up, but I'll get a couple tricks on it. I gotta add something to get up here ASAP. This was a good addition. I'm happy with this. Here's what I mean about being happy it's not longer. There's a joke in there somewhere. Some of the tricks you land going that way into the mini ramp, and it works perfectly. I like that. And I guess it is fully dark out by now, but I'll show you one last thing. My neighbors really love me now. This was sort of an afterthought that I had today that might end up being best case scenario. I'm not dead set on what I want this to be yet. Maybe we do keep it as a little pyramid. Maybe we do a bump to rail option. We can kind of do whatever we want with it. That whole easy access thing I keep talking about, look at this. You're coming at whatever obstacle this is gonna be at fast. If that Wallride was there, you could hit the ceiling. You get a lot of speed. But now you can see what I mean about why I like having that open, because now this can sort of be a runway for another obstacle. Or, I mean, okay, I guess I'm just demonstrating everything now. Now you can do a trick into this bank and you have straight access in. Wow, that looks so cool from this angle. Holy shit. You see the vision. There's a lot of potential and opportunity and cool things to do with the space. This is sick. This is like, oh my God. I'm pretty sure I've said this exact little rant before, but I'm gonna say it again, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. I fully understand that from a viewer's perspective who's just watching me through a screen on the internet, it's really easy to be like, oh wow, look, this YouTuber with a lot of subscribers has a cool warehouse. Okay, sick, whatever. To me, like in my head, I am just someone that decided to make YouTube videos back when making YouTube videos was super whack and frowned upon. Sort of a right place, right time scenario that I pushed through because I really enjoyed it. And it's allowed me to turn my passion and my love for skateboarding into something like this. Imagine, so whoever you are sitting there on your computer or iPhone or tablet or whatever you're watching this video on, imagine what it would feel like for you to have something like this. Like it feels out of reach, like a dream, like an intangible dream, I imagine at least. That is literally how it feels to me. Like still, I can't really fathom it. And I guess this is a very weird way of trying to explain that I feel so privileged and thankful to be able to have. I think that's where I'm going with this. I didn't expect it, like that's for sure. When I started YouTube in 2012, I did not expect this. And to some people, the haters, they're gonna be like, dude, it's a rail and a forced air made out of shitty wood. Like anyone can do that. It's less like this and more of like this. Like to be able to mess around and try my hand at making things and to be able to make a living from it, posting that to the internet and skate it and have fun. To call that my line of work, that's what is like, yeah, I guess that's where I was kind of going with that explanation. Sorry this video didn't have more skating in it. This video was kind of all over the place, to be honest. Started out as like a garage organization thing. I guess I can spill the beans though, because the next video is probably gonna be setting this bad boy up and testing it. It's a metal CNC machine, a CNC plasma cutter. This is a CNC router, which I got for woodworking, mainly for making my fingerboard obstacles, but again, like whatever, it's just a really cool tool to have. And I got that because I wanted to get the basics of like CAD and CAM software and how to use it and get familiar with programming, cuts and all that, because eventually I really wanted a CNC plasma cutter. That's how you can make stuff like, there's gotta be an example in here somewhere. There's not really. Okay, kind of like this. This welding table was made using a CNC plasma cutter. All these little holes, like stuff like that. My my GoPro died. I think that might be a sign for me to stop yapping and end the video. Long story short, I'm super hyped to start creating stuff with that. Anyway, thank you again. I know some people are gonna get sick of me saying thank you, but I'm not gonna get sick of saying it. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you to my channel members for going above and beyond and supporting. You guys know I read every single one of the channel member comments always. Tomorrow, or once it's light out and I have like a rest day, we're for sure catching a whole session here. Not just on that, on the mini ramp, the A-frame. Like I owe you guys a full ass sesh. I owe myself a full ass sesh after all the work I've been putting in. But anyway, that is a wrap. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you. What do I say? I'll see you next video. Peace out.